Hello to all the Atlanta United fans. My name is Jurgen Damm, and you are watching Scarves and Spike, an Atlanta United podcast.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Scarves and Spikes. Tyler and Sydney here with you guys. Tommy will be on with us in a little bit. He was actually supposed to host tonight. This man has got some stuff going on. He's been a busy guy over the past month and a half or so.
They'll be back. Good to have him back.
Yeah, he's just busy, which, to be fair, I mean, it seems like this entire summer has been off the chain.
Can I ask you a question before we get started here, Tyler?
Yes.
Have you been to the Gulag recently?
I think I was in the Gulag this weekend, actually.
Where is the Gulag?
Apparently somewhere within the confines of I-285.
That gets pretty nasty, especially on weekdays.
Wow. Yeah. Lots of traffic in the Gulag, for sure. Pretty much between the hours of 7 and 7, Monday through Sunday.
That covers a lot.
Yeah. So, no, we're going to talk a little bit about some comments made by a former Atlanta United player now twice removed from the team. And we're going to talk about the Twos a little bit because the Twos need to be talked about, and they have a better record right now than Atlanta United does.
More wins than the first team.
Yep. And we'll be joined by Heath Pearce shortly. He'll be coming on a little earlier than normal guests. So we'll have a good time talking some footy with him. And then we will get you guys ready for a Sunday match, a Sunday afternoon match, Atlanta United versus Toronto. So lots to talk about, Sydney.
Sunday afternoon. It's weird.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Just throws off my whole week, you know.
We get to watch MLS 360 on Saturday, I should say, with our good friend Kevin Egan.
Yeah.
Not have to worry about watching Atlanta United.
It's wild.
Until the next day.
Especially with a home match. I feel like I never get to watch it.
Yeah, so, likewise.
Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for being here. It's been a good time. Henry, yes, Tommy does indeed have a chance to do the funniest thing. If you watched MLS Monday, you'll know. If you haven't, go watch MLS Monday because we had some inadvertent
matchy.
Yeah, inadvertent. I don't want to say wardrobe malfunction because nothing came off, but things did match.
Yes, that was funny.
It was great. A little bit like my son said, kind of a before and after shaving commercial type situation going on.
Right.
But Sydney, take us through it. So we'll get to the other stuff in a little bit. But Sean De Silva, who has not been here since what was it, May?
It's been a while. Been a while since he's been traded to RSL.
St. Louis.
Think about it for a second. St. Louis.
St. Louis. And he is now going over to Israel.
Yeah.
But in one of the prior moves of a very busy summer for Atlanta United, obviously Derek Williams was moved over to Reading in England. And it was a move that he wanted, right? He kind of, I mean, he's getting closer to home, which is important for him, I think. So he posts on Instagram, just, hey, happy to be here. The typical post that you get from a player who joins a club, right?
Yeah.
Take us away.
Well, I mean, all Sean De Silva posted was, something to the effect of finally out of the gulag. And that, of course, got fans very up in the uproar. And then he posted a second comment saying, to the effect of, that's not what he meant. I was taking it out of context, as you do in a situation like that, right, Tyler? But apparently, I'll add this in, apparently Taylor Twellman had mentioned it on his X account before he deleted it, but he had alluded to, hey, that kind of speaks to some cultural problems in the Atlanta United ranks, which, I mean, we already knew. to some extent, but I mean, Shani Silva calling it the gulag or whatever he called it. I mean, got some people talking, Tyler. Got some people talking around social media.
Yeah,
Do you
just a little
buy
bit.
it? Yeah.
Just a little bit. And Ariel, you asking which club? He went to Hapoel Tel Aviv in Israel. So Shande Silva did. Yeah, on the way out. I mean, says these things, and it's man, I don't know. If you got something to say, just say it. That's
Right.
how I feel. Like, don't try to backtrack. You know, if there was a problem, man, come out and say it. But I will say also though, I've been following this game for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Football players are among the world's worst in burning bridges. And I think it's crazy. Like, I get it, dude. It's a job. At the end of the day, this is a job. Now, hopefully players still find the joy and the love and the fun in it, because at the end of the day, that's why fans watch it. That's what we want to see. But it is a business. It is a job. Every person, whether you have a dream job, has had moments where you're just like, man, I really don't like my job right now. I don't want to go to work, whatever.
Right.
But to come out after, like, if you leave the job and on the way out, you're like, man, this place is a freaking prison on planet. Yeah, you know, like, it's probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what he did. And
yeah,
you know, you can sit there and say, like, that's not what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about the club. Maybe you're talking about the city. Maybe you're talking about the country. I don't know. But it's not a good look, dude. And it just kind of, it's bad taste.
Well, maybe he was talking about the country. I don't know.
But
on his face, it looked pretty bad. Like, if you don't want people to take you a specific way, just don't say anything. Just don't post to social media. But, you know, again, it got people talking and got people murmuring about what do you mean, what do you mean, what do you mean? And then, like I say, he said nothing to do with what you guys are thinking. But, you know, kind of to bring it back, hats off to Derek Williams, class player. Really never turned down an interview request, you know, regardless of how the team played. You know, he was always there. He was always open to discuss what happened. He was pretty frank at times, but never in a confrontational, adversarial manner. And that's what I appreciate about Derek. And, you know, like you said, Tyler, back at home, or back close to home, back in the British Isles. So all the best in Reading. I think they're in the League One, the third division of English soccer. So all the best to him. Hopefully he does well.
Yeah,
over there in Reading FC.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Derek was always a cool guy. I really thought so. Henry said Derek made it out of the gulag in Call of Duty. Apparently, they were playing Warzone the night before.
Yeah, right.
But no, I mean, I wish Derek the best. Absolutely, he was a super quiet guy, and you know, it's interesting now that we're almost at the end of this season. Going into this season, that was one of Ronnie Dyla's biggest points of emphasis, and one of the people that he really pushed was Derek to be more of a leader, a louder presence back there.
Right.
But in the locker room, he was always just a super quiet. I don't want to say meek, just a quiet dude, you know, kind of kept to himself. I mean, and fans have seen that Rooted in the Stripes with him, you know, kind of doing interviews but a class act. I mean, as far from what we could tell, I mean, I thought he was a great guy, but also got to take into consideration age, things like that. Like, he wants to be back closer to home. He spent a very large amount of time over here in the U.S. So, yeah, good for him. And I wish Shande Silva the best of luck, too. I want him to get his career back on track.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, like, maybe stay off of Instagram for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Be careful of what you post. I feel like that's a life lesson for everybody.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Watch your words. And
take that for what it's worth. Like, when you post things on the internet, they don't go away.
Right.
They don't go away. So anyway, so that's the drama. I feel like we talked a lot about drama this week between this MLS Monday. We talked about Lionel Messi running out of the stadium.
Yeah.
Which is also probably nothing. But you know, TMZ a little bit. MLS needs it.
Right.
Tabloids start getting involved.
Right.
So again, we're coming in a little bit differently than we normally do. We're going to talk about the first team a lot here in a little bit with Heath,
Yeah.
but I feel like we owe it to the twos to give them a little bit more attention. We try to cover the whole club as much as we can, and Gray is going to be doing a recorded show for our Patreons a little bit later. Edgar, what's up from LA? Brian out there on the West Coast as well, but they're going to be diving into college related stuff that has to do with Atlanta and, the pipeline. But the twos right now, again, have technically a better record than the first team does.
More wins than the first team.
No, they're still near the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
But the twos have, and I've said this over and over for years, the twos, they are going to try to be as competitive as possible. But some teams, some pipeline teams treat their second team, essentially. Some clubs treat their second team as we're teaching you how to play the style of soccer that we want to play.
Right.
And yes, we want to win. But at the end of the day, the results are not necessarily what matters. It's developing the players. And Atlanta does have a pretty good track record of developing players, whether maybe it feels that way right now or not. But look at Noah Cobb, Efrain Morales, both gone. That's a testament to what the twos in the academy is doing. So here they are. And you also had Nick Sesak just got not a short term. I mean, it is a short term
first team contract,
until the end of the season. So that's another one that's getting moved up. Mazafetta had a short term deal this past week. So there's value in these guys and there's value in that club. Atlanta United 2 is coming off some good stuff. The most recent win, 1-0 over Crown Legacy, which is Charlotte's second team.
Yeah.
And before that, they thumped Toronto 2, 3-1, which is a good sign for the
back-to-back wins. Good to see. And a little break between the two, but I mean, back-to-back wins. You mentioned Nick Sesak has been part of the twos. Will Riley will throw in there. Luke Brennan, of course. These are guys that we see with, we've seen with the twos kind of developing, get seasoned. Hopefully, this can continue to be an outlet for players to make their way to the first team. By the way, quick shout out to Patrick Weah, who scored the lone goal against Crown Legacy. So I believe that's back-to-back matches for him. With a goal. So good to see that from him. But Tyler, you mentioned it. I feel like people kind of treat Atlanta United 2 as an afterthought. It's like, whatever. But if done right, if done correctly, it could be a real opportunity for players to make their way up the player pipeline in Atlanta United. That being said, does the front office, what do they do with these players, right? You mentioned Cobb being moved out, Morales being moved out. I guess that's my only fear. Do these players have a place with the first team? We've seen Brennan do well. We've seen Riley do well. Jay Fortune last few years before he came up with the first team, he got his time to develop in ATL UTD too. So hopefully more of that to come in the next little bit here. Javi Perez, of course, overseeing the academy and just the overall development pipeline for Atlanta United. So hopefully with that fresh set of eyes, the twos can really continue to crank out some good talent. But you mentioned Gray, and Gray is going to be sitting down with Tommy. And we'll get that video out to you patrons, Patreon backers, within the next day or two. But patreon.com/scarsandspikes is where you can sign up to become a Patreon backer and get access to that a whole lot more, including our Discord. Yeah. So and got to plug that right off the bat.
100%. And if you don't know, by the way, and I say this a lot, but Gray legitimately knows more about the academy and especially the college side of things than anybody.
Probably more than some people on the team.
Oh yeah.
Within the club.
I can tell you more than a lot of people in the club. And that's not a knock on the club at all.
No.
I mean, the way that a second team and then the academy, and then of course players that go off to college and they're kind of out of sight, out of mind for a couple of years. That's just kind of how it is. Like the people at the club are focused on the here and now. But Gray, this man has records and records and records of the entire pipeline, and nobody is more knowledgeable than this man. I'm telling you. So yes, there's the plug, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. It'll be a great interview. And he's always putting up, he has a very good article over on scarvesandspikes.com as well that goes into kind of what to expect about some of these young players.
Deep into it.
Could be coming back. Yeah, very deep into it. And so
Someone
you hear
got
about
him
the
a
Noah
job.
Cobbs and the Jaden Hibberts and the Ephraim Moraleses and the Luke Brennans and Will Riley's. Like, this is where it all starts. And this is where you get that information from. So
if anyone in MLS is watching or listening, get him a job in the league or something like
for
that.
real.
I think he will be an asset
There he
to
is.
your club. An asset to your club.
We're very lucky to have Gray. You know who else we're lucky to have?
Who is it?
That was a good segue, right?
Yeah.
Heath Pearce. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Heath?
How are you?
Good.
Man.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah. Coming in loud and clear.
Good.
So I guess because we cycle through a ton of the MLS talent. And I guess to start off, for those who maybe have only heard you, on the broadcast, everything else, just kind of let everybody know kind of your background, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So my name's Heath Pearce. I'm one of the MLS season pass analysts. I primarily do the Western Conference, which is why if we probably haven't crossed paths with many of the people that are more paying attention to Atlanta United or the Eastern Conference. By way of background, my day job is I'm currently the president and co-founder of a soccer marketing company called Force Soccer. We do media marketing experiences. But by way of background of playing the game, I started my career in FC Nordsjælland in Denmark. That's where I got my first caps with the national team. Spent time in the Bundesliga with Hansa Rostock. Then had a deal fall through to go to a club called Bursaspor in Turkey. Put me in a bit of a bind before 2010 World Cup. Ended up signing a deal with Major League Soccer, going to FC Dallas. Was part of the team in FC Dallas that lost an MLS Cup, but still have a few kind of standing records from that era with some really great players. And then went on to play Chivas, New York Red Bulls, Montreal, and then finished my career in Gothenburg, Sweden. And then at about 30 years old, kind of decided, hey, this shelf life seems to be getting shorter. I've got a few opportunities to kind of get into the media space. So why not give it a go and see if I like it? So I gave myself a couple month window and then never looked back. So between, the business side of being the president of Force Soccer, spend a lot of my time doing the analyst work with Major League Soccer.
Sounds like you're very well traveled.
I feel like I am. There's 50, 60 countries I've been to. Got a chance to travel the world, learn some new languages, do all those kinds of things that I feel like have really given me hopefully a really good perspective on the world of life, sport, and all those types of things. And now on Wednesday, August 20th, I took my 3 daughters to school who are all in school for the first time. So that's the next step now in my journey, which is our youngest is also in school. So very, very quiet house for a few hours today.
I've got 4, so I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So Heath, you were working with MLS Season Pass or these past couple of years. I'm getting integrated in the calling games, getting integrated to the media. Obviously, there are a lot of storylines that we can ask you about around MLS, but just kind of top of mind, what's kind of stood out to you? I mean, San Diego, of course, Miami to some extent, Philly, Cincinnati. I can throw a ton more other names, but what's kind of stood out to you the most from what you see, from where you sit?
I mean, honestly, the thing that stands out for me the most is every time a new team comes into the league, right? You go back to Atlanta. Okay, it's a football stadium. What's going to happen? And it's explosive. The supporter culture, the diversity of supporter culture. Hispanic, Black, Asian, female. It's just seeing that kind of come to life. Seeing the way teams are no longer just putting a team being like, just come out, it's sports, and seeing the way that you have to connect within your community is a really, really powerful thing. So, San Diego, for example, and actually before I get to San Diego, I remember going to, I don't know if it was a MLS Cup or an All-Star game or something in Atlanta. And I remember getting in a taxi or a Uber, Lyft, whatever, to the airport. And the guy started asking me questions. What are you here for? And we ended up talking soccer. And he wasn't a soccer fan in the traditional sense, but hearing him talk about soccer, he talked about it the same way that you would hear people in Atlanta talk about college sports, about the coach, about the players. And it had this completely different way of looking at it. And the way that I was like, the application of it was so unique to me that I was like, man, the way this guy is consuming soccer is so different than myself as a core. But it was almost like, sports talk radio, the way he was getting information and the way he was spitting it back out. And I was like, man, I've never heard somebody kind of take old school way of looking at sports with soccer, because it was this niche, nuanced thing, boring, didn't have a lot of goals, that kind of thing. But apply it in the same way was a really unique kind of anecdote for me to experience in a place like that. But to go back to San Diego, I've had a chance to call a number of their games this year. They've yet to win when I call a game. I've done 4 before, and which is
so they're going to ban you, the fans.
Yeah.
If you look at their record and then you look at my record when I'm calling those games, it is not good. And I can assure you, between now and the end of the regular season, I do not have another San Diego FC game. You tell me who somebody called somebody and was like, keep that guy out of the stadium. But to just see, again, that the supporter culture come to life, to see the fact that, like, harvesting communities and building fandom and listening and taking all that in, to see when I park in that stadium, I park amongst the fans and they're out tailgating, whether it's a Wednesday or a Saturday, to see all that come to life with like a pride of city, pride of locale and all that. It's a really spectacular thing.
You mentioned college football, and obviously, as you know, in the South, college football is king. Georgia Tech, etc. But we've been very blessed from a media standpoint. Doug Robertson with the AJC, 92.9 The Game, who has covered some matches. Mike Conti, Jason Longshore have put really blood, sweat, and tears and make it a terrific experience for fans to follow the match. So I think in that regard, we've been very blessed. And really around the Southeast, you got Nashville, Charlotte, I'll throw Orlando in there, Miami in there as well. This little quadrant of the United States where soccer, I don't want to say has really taken off because it's always been there, but it's been great to see the growth really over the past decade or so.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. And then when you go beyond Major League Soccer and you just look at like, one of my best friends is one of the co-founders of Vermont Green, who has bigger ambitions, but to see, these areas of the country that have then said, okay, well, maybe we don't have either the population or the financial capabilities of like a local owner to have an MLS team. We need something for the community. And to finally have this narrative of like, well, it's not the Premier League, man. Like it doesn't have to always be about the quality of the play compared to quality elsewhere. It can be this vehicle that brings people together and like-minded individuals. And I think that's such a powerful tool that soccer's always had as a progressive sport. But we're seeing it now more and more across all of the leagues, and people kind of finding their local community, but also having the capacity to say, I might support, Knoxville, but I'm also an Atlanta United fan, and that type of thing, because this is where my kids go. This is my community. But at the same time, like, I want that more premium opportunity, or I have family from there, and that type of thing, I think is a really unique. And that's not just an American thing anymore, by the way. It started in the US with this whole, like, you have no loyalty thing, but the average kid around the world now is supporting more than, 3 clubs. Whereas that generation is shifting now away from being like, I'm Brighton only, and that's all I have kind of bandwidth for.
Yeah, and you look at, like you mentioned, Vermont, and look at what they just did, and then Michael Parkhurst and his Rhode Island, they're bringing in tons of people, and like the support that they're receiving. And then you look at cities that, again, I mean, in Atlanta, to be fair, was in the same boat less than a decade ago, which is wild.
Yeah.
But these, Lexington's, Birmingham's, like these cities that maybe aren't well known, and ones that, at least in the soccer circle, that you would think, oh, they're going to have a really, really big following.
Yeah.
They're pulling in tons of people, and these fans are like locked in. And so, yeah, and not to get off on the tangent of like how much it's growing, but it's beautiful to see how much it's growing in this country.
Yeah. And I mean, especially for Atlanta, for me, and I've got a few gripes with Atlanta over my life. When I was part of one of the residency programs in Bradenton before they had academies, and I was living with the youth national team there. So my connection from Northern California, I'd fly Sacramento through Atlanta to Sarasota, Bradenton. And that airport was just so big for me as a kid when I was like 15 years old traveling on my own. But my biggest gripe, and this is a bit of a humble brag, but my biggest gripe is it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm waiting for like my 8 a.m. flight to go to Bradenton. And Deion Sanders cuts in front of our line at Burger King in the Atlanta airport, doesn't pay. He's in a head to toe mink coat.
Of course
doesn't
he is.
pay. Everybody's yelling,
believe
"Oh, that's prime time!" And the whole place basically shut down. He got his food before us. Didn't have to pay. And so for me, I've always had this whole thing of like, what? You know, I was like 16 years old. Like, what? And then obviously when I realized it was him, you know, it was a great story. But I'm just kidding. I've always loved the Atlanta experiences. And by the way, I went to a speakeasy in Atlanta and they didn't let Kalen Carr in, and then they let me in right after. That's another one of my issues.
Was it the red phone booth?
Yeah, it was that. Yeah. He walked up and we were coming behind him. He's like, dude, I'm not getting in. And then like, you know, I guess it's not that hard to get in with like coming from the hotels we were at and stuff.
Yeah.
But then we came in and he left and I was like, dude, we were fine, you know, but somehow.
Was it the dress code?
Come in. What's that?
Was it the dress code?
I don't know.
So do you know Devin Kerr?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So after a match a couple of years ago, he was like, "Hey man, let's go to the red phone booth." And I was like, "Cool." I didn't prepare for this on the way up there. So I'm not wearing like anything out of the ordinary. I mean, I'm covering the game up in the press box, but like I was not dressed up for the red phone booth and they wouldn't let me in. I was like, dadgummit, man. I got shafted.
They'll give you like a jacket in there though, I think, right?
It was my shorts technically had like one cargo pocket on it and they wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
I didn't get the invite, by the way. So.
Yeah. You had your tater tots in your cargo shorts. They weren't letting you in,
I had to do it, you know. So jumping into Mercedes-Benz Stadium this time around, and you obviously you've been on the West Coast mostly. As a fresh set of eyes looking at Atlanta United in 2025, without us saying anything about it, what are your just overall thoughts? And you can be as blatantly honest as you want to be.
I mean, it was a very bizarre experience because I had a chance to finally call him. I maybe did one Atlanta game over the last kind of 3 years, but in Colorado, you just look at the 11 on the field and you go, I'd be terrified to play this team. And when they get going, you go, okay, they're very, very good, right? Like just the movement. You have a player like Miranchuk that's like wants the ball at all places, kind of constantly looking over his shoulder, scanning the field, has a good final ball. You know, you got wingers that can punish you. You got Latte Lad, who obviously we've seen in the early part of the season how capable he is of exploding out. And it just blew my mind, the quality that is on the field, and then how it kind of, at a certain point in the match, just disappeared. Like, and it wasn't like, oh, they were getting pinned back or they were getting dominated or they were falling apart. It was just like this idea that like the belief only lasted so long. And then obviously, you know, when you give up goals, that doesn't help. You give up an early goal, but then they answer back. And it just still felt like a work in progress. When I truly mean this, there's 80% of this team is like, this squad is built, you know, it's missing something. I don't know if it's leadership. I don't know if it's, you know, because Almiron was relatively uneventful in a lot of the game. I don't know if it's the players he needs off of him. You know, I just think that it's very close to getting it right. I think Saba's another good player. But it just feels like, you know, that connective tissue is missing, that red thread that actually makes everything become a complete team. And that might be up the spine. I know that there's been issues with center backs this year and like getting those players on the field and building consistency. But man, it's just, you know, and look, Brad Guzan, I think is at the end of his sort of run with the team. Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that maybe he'll be around as a player next year, but certainly not the number one for the club. And so I think there's some pieces that need to be added to it. But I remember thinking during the game, I was like, man, I spent so much time talking about how good all of this is. And then spending the rest of the game thinking like, what happened to all of that good? What happened to that quality of bringing these, a lot of good individuals, but how do you make that a team? And so that to me has been what feels like the consistent theme. Having a chance to talk to Ronnie, it feels like there's a belief in where they're going, but it's requiring some really honest and open, dialogue of like, this guy's not my guy. That guy's not that guy. I need these types of players. I need this type of commitment. And it feels like it's being sort of weeded out so that, they can go into this offseason with the idea of like, okay, we might be cleaning house. We might be adding a few pieces, but as a core, we need to accomplish a minimum objective. But again, when I look at the lineup, I'm just like, man, terrifying on a good day. But
and I'll ask you this real quick, just to piggyback on that before Sydney jumps back in. But as a player, and I ask a lot of the guests that we have on who played and especially played at the highest levels like you, where does that I guess disconnect come from? Like we have beat the dead horse over and over again, trying to figure out, like you said, is it leadership? Is it culture? That C word that we throw around all the time and everybody jokes around about it. Is it something just super intangible that they come out, they're playing the way that they want to play, and then, like you said, the belief just falls apart? Like what does that come down to?
I think it's confidence. I mean, obviously this team has shown they're in like the upper echelon of distance covered as a team, so that I think is a positive. But when you're in that upper echelon and you're not getting the results, that is a rewards-based system, right? Of like, if we all fight, if we all work hard enough, the rewards come. And when they don't, you start to go, well, what are we doing all this running for, And that's a hard thing. There's a number of teams in the league that play that way. But I think it's confidence. I think it's buying into the system. I think it's building trust with the manager. And, I mentioned the 2010 team with FC Dallas. We were 10 points after 10 games, and we all came together. And with all due respect to Shellis Hyndman, who was the coach at the time, we all basically said, this guy's not going to change. He's not going to change. We'd score a goal on a header. We'd work on headers the whole next week. We're like we were children, we were like, this is crazy. Like, we'd be out in the field for 2.5 hours, like work, and then just the way he could pull people apart as a team, and like you were either in or you were out in a very binary way. We all came together and we were like, myself and David Ferreira, who's Jesus Ferreira's dad, ended up being MVP that year. Him and I were just going at each other, every day in training, and then finally we all came together and we were like, this guy's not going to change. We can't control that. This coach, this way of playing, but all we can do is control this. And at that point, literally the next week, we went, I think it was 17 games unbeaten through the end of the season. We ended up losing on the final match day of the year. We ended up with 4 losses on the season, 10 points after 10 games, 4 losses on the season, and it was just this idea of saying, like, at a certain point, we've got to be accountable, because we can all just sit and say, this is the way we play. We would have scrimmages where we would play 15 against 15. Like, that is stupid.
What?
Like literally you go out and there's 4 center midfielders, like it was crazy. We were just like, this is wild. And so eventually we got to the point where you're like, hey, whether for or in spite of, we have to come together as a group. And that was a turning point. Now, I say that because that's really hard to do, right? That maybe happened once or twice in my career, that you can get a team that comes together, everybody shares the same values, and you go on that run, and then the rewards start to come. We'd be in the 88th minute of games being like, doesn't matter. Eric Avila is going to come off the bench and score a banger for us, or Breck Shea is going to get us a goal, and it would happen. Like, we just had this belief, and it worked out that way. That's the best case scenario. The somewhere in the middle, though, is about being able to grind and get results, and that's why you see more teams have leadership committees. It's not just the captain anymore. It's like 5-6 guys. They have the ear of the coach. Once a week, they're all sitting, and it's more of like a roundtable discussion. Instead of it being like boss subordinate, it's like, hey, I need you guys to tell me what you're feeling, what's happening in the locker room, what the truth is. And when you start to build that, that's where I think you can start to build that trust and that culture of being able to say, hey, hey, I know what you're saying. We get it, but like, that's not how people are feeling your messages. You know, that's not how people are thinking things. And so without being in a locker room, it's really hard to say what the issue is. But there is a disconnect or a lack of belief and confidence that comes at a certain point in the match against Colorado that I saw, where I was just like, man, they're not even connecting passes anymore. They're not even like, everything feels a little bit disjointed. And when you see the polarization of that, of how good they can be, you go, that's scary, you know, to see that level of drop off. At this point in the season, you go, that drop should be tiny. You know, you should default back to like, we need everybody to be a 6 or 7. We're going to get a win. But when you have guys go from like 9s to 3s, and you have too many of those guys on the field, Bob Bradley used to say this all the time, like, we need enough 7s and 8s to win any national team game. When you have everybody's a 9, you batter teams. And then the next game you have a bunch of 3s. That's not a great recipe for consistent results.
So he's taking a look at Toronto FC, and this is a side that's been in a time of transition, parted ways with Bernardeschi and Insigne, who, relatively speaking, had underperformed up in Toronto. They brought in Jordi Mihailovic, and by all accounts, it looks like they're playing for 2026. No chance of making the playoffs at this point, virtually. Where do you see them going here in the future? Because this was another team that a few years back was at top of the MLS, or top of MLS, like Atlanta United was. But again, like Atlanta, they have fallen off. So what's the prognosis of Toronto FC, not just the rest of the season, but moving on to 2026 and beyond?
Interestingly, I think Toronto FC cannot get back to the level that they were without their supporters. They've had a big falling out with a number of supporter groups over the years, and that stadium is a very intimidating place to play in. You know, when you take in the multicultural supporter culture experience that you have there with all of their fans and supporters, like, that's an intimidating place. And, you know, I got a chance to spend some time with some of the supporter groups when I was doing some different like short docs and content series, you know, when I first retired, and you got to see the passion of what created that 12th man in Toronto. So I think that's the first part, right? They got to find a way to get back to filling that house and creating that atmosphere that's driven by the people of the city, that creates this unique, intimidating atmosphere. On the field, it does feel like, they get a draw against Philadelphia, they get a draw against Columbus. Like, those are massive results, all things considered, for Toronto this year. Toronto is actually the only game that I've done as an Eastern Conference home game, and they played against Nashville. And again, it just felt almost reactive a lot of the time, like not confident, mostly just reacting to what was happening around them. But now they clean house, building a new DP strategy. Jordi Mihailovic, I mean, they threw the kitchen sink to get him, because I don't think Colorado, who are fighting for a playoff spot, would have given their best player away, arguably their best player away, for anything less than a bag. And so I think that's I think it's a signal of intent from Toronto FC that they're ambitious. If you go back to the early kind of Josie, Michael Bradley era, like, that was they basically went out and said, we're going for it. We're going to spend the money. We're going to bring the players in. Giovinco, they're going to build not just a 2 or 3 star system. They're going to bring players around them. They're going to build a culture. They're going to have the right coaching staff, and they're going to go for it. And they achieved a lot in that window. So I think it's a good signal of intent. When I talked to Robin Fraser last, he talked about the next DP strategy. So I know that there is, it's not as straight up as just like sign good players. There are ways that you have to work through that, but moving 2 players on that I think were surplus to requirement is a big first step. But they're certainly building for next year. But they've got a rough go in the coming weeks with Atlanta. They've got Montreal as well, and I played in that Montreal Toronto. Like, they do not like each other. Yeah, and that's one of the few. I played in the Canadian Cup final, and that was ugly. Like, there's some history that goes far beyond the green grass that I actually had reminding me of playing in Copenhagen or in Germany, where you're like, oh yeah, this predates me by 100 years, and this is a scary place. So they've got a tough go, but I think it's a good. Robin Fraser knows Georgie. I think that's a good first step. But it's a first step to many steps, I think, to building the club that they want. They need the backing from the front office, and then they need to get those supporters back in the stands.
Yeah,
for sure. Heath, I know you got to roll. We'll get you out of here, man. Y'all are going to be in the stadium on Sunday? Are you calling it from the stadium?
No, so I did Toronto last weekend.
I'm tripping.
Yeah. Sorry, I did Atlanta, not Toronto.
Yeah.
I did Atlanta last weekend.
It's been a very, very long week.
I would love to, though.
Right.
Myself and Mark Rogandino, we've got our Eastern Conference bucket list. We're like, give me Atlanta. I need to be in that stadium calling the game. I've been down. I was running around on the field doing stuff when Atlanta won the cup inside the Benz, and I remember just like it was wild. So I was like, I need to call a game in there, and I was always jealous of Kevin Egan and these guys when they were calling it back in the day. It was just like you felt this like super professional, big club feeling.
Yeah.
So even though I haven't been there yet, it's on my bucket list.
Well, when you're here, we had Mark on last week too, so we've had like the pairing, and so I'm like, oh yeah, y'all are going to be here in Atlanta.
Right.
When you're here, I will personally make sure Deion Sanders is not at the airport, and I will buy you a drink for mentioning Breck Shea on our podcast, former Atlanta United player for a very short time. Hey, we joke around about a bunch of them, and Breck Shea doesn't get brought up that often. Unfortunately. It's a good guy.
He's a 17-year-old Breck Shea. I got all kinds of stories, but we'll save those for another day.
I'm sure.
Well, you're welcome back anytime, man. We appreciate you hopping on with us.
Yeah,
thanks, Heath.
Have a good
Appreciate you.
See you, man.
Cheers. Now that Heath has had a chance to talk to us about Atlanta United, we have another guest. Well, not a guest.
Swap.
Hot swap, Mr.
Hi.
Tommy.
Do we still suck?
Atlanta,
Sadly.
Yeah, things unfortunately haven't changed.
Oh.
Same old.
But
all right then. See ya.
Mark were great over the past. He's out.
He just left.
They were great over the past 2 weeks.
They were.
It was a joy talking to both of them. So
yeah. Great chat.
You can come back in now.
Oh, there he's back. Now he's back. I'll get him back in here. Tommy, welcome back. Thanks for
Did we get any better?
coming back. No,
marginally.
Still bad.
There's a little bit of hope because Heath just gave us probably the only thing that Atlanta United fans can hold on to, which was he actually gave like an example of a moment in real life where another team kind of went through the same thing and pulled themselves out of it that Atlanta's going through right now, which we haven't really heard. Yeah. So there's something to hold on to there.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks, Angels in the outfield, Little Giants, Ladybugs. Am I forgetting? I'm forgetting any good movies.
Hoosiers. Remember the Titans?
Hoosiers? Yeah.
Oh, they're good anyway. They're good. They're always good, but they haven't. They need to take that next step.
Yeah.
Herman Boone. He got them there. Eventually, they had to settle their differences.
So
do we want to hit the promos? By the way.
Yeah, I'll hit the promos real quick. I'm holding one in my hand as we speak right now. Go to scarvesandspikes.com.
Glass, to be clear.
Yes, it's a glass. Very clear. I also have a hat on my head. I'll go ahead and put the body part out there, so don't get any ideas. No, go to scarvesandspikes.com. Go to the shop. We have beer glasses. We have coffee mugs. We have hats, shirts, hoodies, jackets, everything. Go snag you one. The website, we got tons of articles going up. Obviously, game day coverage, everything else, all the moves. The summer transfer window is almost over, but we do have the transfer tracker on there as well. And y'all go join the Patreon, patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Tommy is going to be recording with Gray shortly after we get done here on the live show for a piece about college players, the pipeline, everything else.
And
the twos, yeah.
Yep.
So y'all go join up if you haven't. Get you in our Discord, get you into the watch alongs, and then we have the other tiers that get you access to things like this video and the other exclusives. Henry has one up with Javier Perez.
Yeah.
I'm tripping again.
You're right.
Who is the guy that's kind of over all of the pipeline right now, the youth development. So anyway, go join Patreon. Patreon.com/scarvesandspikes.
Quick shout out to
cool
those
watch along channel. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say we have a cool watch along channel that we just created in the Discord. And the past couple of weeks, it went from like 2 people to like 4 people, and then I was late because my power went out on Saturday, and I came
Yeah.
in, there was already like 7 people in there. So gives that an opportunity for you if you're just sitting at home on the couch or you're wherever and you just want to talk to other Atlanta United fans. Come join us. I'm on there
Increment-
most games.
Incremental growth. That's about all we can ask for. 2 to 4 to 7.
Especially with the way the team is playing right now. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Quickly, guys, quick shout out to those watching on YouTube, watching us live here, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays. Be able to like, subscribe, share our content if this is your first time. If you've not subscribed already, we're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart shortly after the live show. So if you're listening to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeart, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, leave a review, 5 stars, please, and leave a rating and let us know how we're doing. So
Or
we
4
really
and a
do
half.
appreciate it. Or 4.5. Well,
preferably a 5.
preferably.
I mean
We prefer
4.5
5.
is still way above average. I
Yeah.
still
I feel
can't believe iHeartRadio is still a thing. Like everything
is
that has
still a thing.
died over the years, that our iHeartRadio still exists.
Still a thing.
Also
Amazing.
have like a big music festival.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they still have that. I'm shocked that people show up to the iHeartRadio Fest.
I'm sure enough do. That's why I still
I
do
guess-
it. But
Not your
yeah.
I
scene.
guess so.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love Kesha and Lady Gaga. Don't tell me what I don't like.
That is true. That is true. So, Tommy, I feel like it's been forever since me and you have been on here simultaneously
Hmm.
It has.
because it's been a busy month. What happens on Sunday? Just go ahead and tell me now.
You're running out of opportunities to get a win.
Mhm.
There's a lot of, I mean, you have some very good opponents coming up that need to make playoff runs. Toronto is not one of them. They are one
Not
that you
even
do not
close.
have to worry about that is making it. I saw that. I think they have a transfer coming in. I think they announced obviously won't be here in time unless they have the messy Miami card to pull to bring him in. But they're another team that's kind of like us that's lacking DPs, lacking quality player. I mean, that was us last year, lacking DP players. We have DP players; they just don't play like DP players now. But
Right.
I think that this is the game where Atlanta United gets a win.
You think
Now
so?
you did see Toronto draw Columbus last week, which was an upset. I know it wasn't a loss for Columbus, but a draw is an upset for the Crew that are obviously trying to get a high playoff spot there. So, they're kicking themselves about missing out on those 2 points. But Toronto is not going to be at home. They are going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Last I checked, you do not. The stadium does not sell poutine, so they're not going to feel like they're at home. They won't be showing Terrence and Phillip shows up on there if you get the South Park reference. I think
No,
this is the win that you got to get. This is the game where you need to get that win. This is the game where Ronnie Dyla needs to get a win here because your home games left are just not easy at all. And
right.
again, like we were joking around in the Discord about, after the summer transfer window, are you allowed to decorate your house for Christmas? And I got yelled at because it's Halloween is the next season besides my birthday. But you need
Yeah.
there's going to be people start showing up with paper bags on their head in that stadium if they haven't already.
I don't think
That's
we've
the
got
costume.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I'm not sure we've gotten to that point. I haven't seen really any paper bags around the stadium, but
Why
Um,
not?
I don't know. That's not my call. But you're talking about the home matches remaining.
Somebody's going to be there in a paper bag now. because of
right.
this.
I'm sorry, Lanny United.
Put
front
scarves
office.
and yeah, I was gonna say if you do put scarves and spikes on the front, gets us some
What are
good.
you doing? I'm the one that always makes these bad choices on to say things, not you.
No, but
It's me.
No, but you mentioned the home schedule, Tommy, coming up after Toronto. So you have Columbus, San Diego, and DC coming in. So I mean, Columbus and San Diego obviously speaks for themselves. DC, it's DC. But yeah, you have 3 chances after TFC to get a win at home, and I'm not confident about Columbus and San Diego. I don't know if I'm confident about DC at this point, but yeah, this is probably your last legitimate chance at getting a win. But you mentioned some incoming transfers or 8 incoming transfer Tom Bogert saying, and Cesar Luis Merida saying as well, Jose Cifuentes is on his way in on loan from Rangers. So that's another addition they've made. And Jules Anthony Vilsaint, another name that they have added to their team. So this is a club that is in transition after parting ways with the Italians. We talked about it a little with Heath earlier, but guys, this was a team that a few years ago, they were near the top of MLS and they're competing for trophies. They're winning MLS Cups. They came pretty darn close to winning it in 2019. But, this is, again, a team in transition and a team looking toward 2026, kind of like Atlanta United. And I know Henry kind of joked about it the other day. This is the mid-off. Which team is more mid? I would argue that this is not the mid-off. This is just the really bad off. Which team is the worst? It's like
the toilet bowl.
The toilet bowl, if you will.
This is absolutely
two teams that
it wasn't necessarily what we said, but this absolutely has the drunk uncle game of the week written all over it.
This was the Eastern Conference Final in 2019. Think
I
about
know,
that.
dude. How far we have fallen.
Now it's like, which team will be in last in the Eastern Conference? Probably
I hate
the one
Toronto.
that loses this one.
I hate Toronto because of that game, and also because as an Italian, you took two Italians onto your team and you did nothing with them. Absolutely nothing. They spent that entire offseason talking about how good Toronto was going to be
Right.
with those two guys coming in, and it was a disaster. A complete disaster there.
The good news is,
What's that?
knock on wood, but Toronto has not done well inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Except in 2019.
They did it when it mattered. Don't tell me that.
Right.
That's
But
not
it
going to
doesn't
make me
matter
feel
now.
better.
So, in theory, if we're following that logic, then this will be good for Atlanta because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Trying to be
Stranger things have
optimistic.
happened.
I need fun in my life. Like I need some type of fun. Like even if it's a 4-3 Toronto win, like at least at the end we could say that we had fun there. It just hasn't.
No,
It's
not
that's
fun.
the thing. It's just the games. A couple of those Leagues Cup games were fun. Let's not down. Like even the
Fun
one
for
where they
who?
ended up blowing the lead. The one where they blew the lead in Orlando, like still that was an exciting game. Like for 3 minutes, we looked like a real team that scored 2 goals in like a span of like what 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sorry. I'm looking at
3
Brett's
minutes.
comments. I described Sunday's match to the new grad students as 2 magic carpet and the mental image of them just splashing.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But we
What's
need
the-
that. We
Yeah.
need some type of fun in that stadium there, and like
Mhm.
a Sunday afternoon at 4:00.
Yes.
A Sunday at 4:00 is like the perfect time to just get weird in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Like that's the type of one where you walk out of it to go home, eat a late Sunday dinner, and go, I just watched the craziest match that I've ever watched. And that's
Right.
what I'm sticking to. That's why my prediction is 7-5 Atlanta.
Down. And a safety and a field goal.
Well, the Falcons just lost their 2 starting right tackles. So at this
Oh,
point,
that's fun.
I need anything. I'll take a touchdown anywhere I can get it.
So it's going to be a turnstile for Penix to have to deal with in 2025. Sounds like at right tackle. No, you mentioned Brett talking about Magic Hearts. It brought to mind, Smash Brothers. You play was it Ash? You get Ash,
Pokemon trainer.
yeah, Pokemon trainer, whoever, and you end up getting a Pokeball. You're just anticipating this is going to be good. This is going to be good. You throw the ball, it ends up being a Goldeen just flopping around on the floor. It's like, come on, man.
Flopping around. You're like, God, this was my one chance.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what's possibly going to happen inside the bins.
Yeah, no doubt. But
Level 50, baby.
look
You
at
we
you.
talk about Pokemon level
you're
50.
level 50.
Hey, look, there's not much to talk about with this game, so I figured I just flash that I've reached
Well
the
done.
top of the top.
Good job.
Now they need
Good
to up
job.
the level cap.
So, are you sticking with that prediction, Tommy? or-
No, I
I didn't think so.
I do think it's a 4-2 I still think it's a high scoring match with 4-2. And like I said this last time, and Sydney's going to come here and go, I think Toronto's going to win 1-0. And he's going to be right, because last time I said I wanted a shit show and we got like a 1-0 game. Or no, was it the 0-0 DC game? I think that's actually the one where it was.
Maybe.
I think I was like, oh, it's going to be like 5-3 or something like that. And it was a 0-0 game. You had Kevin from Charlotte go there and actually fall asleep at the stadium. And the next day he woke up and nobody was there around. Like, these are the things that that happen in these games. But like, you need this stadium, this fan base, even if you're going out with the wooden spork or the spoon or whatever, you need to at least have some fun. And this fan base deserves a little bit of fun.
Actually, TFC has allowed 34 goals. That's fifth or fourth lowest in the Eastern Conference. So goals might be a little hard to come by.
They've also only scored 3 in their last 5 games. So.
Yeah, but no, goals might be hard to come by on Sunday.
Fine, 6-0 Atlanta United.
Let's go. Grace said, look, it'll be 2 Jigglypuffs singing us to sleep.
Yeah. But no.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's like you said, chances to win at home are getting thinner and thinner, because after this, 3 more matches at home, and then you're done. So I don't know. I just don't feel confident about Atlanta United. I haven't felt confident about Atlanta United winning any matches or the past few weeks. I guess if we're going to talk about months, whatever.
I want to live in your world.
Right. But just kind of recap TFC. Win this 4 in a row, but they did come up with back-to-back draws. One of them against Columbus, which is a big result for them just from a mentality standpoint. But this is not by and large a good team, and I don't know if Atlanta United still is going to be able to come out on top. I could see this being a 2-1 for TFC. I'm going to say Mihailovic scores for TFC his first goal, or goal contribution. Yeah, first goal for his new club. I think he'll have some sort of impact on the match on Sunday. And that's why they brought him in, right? That's why TFC brought him in, to have an impact as they bring in more players like Vincent, veteran at MLS, and Cifuentes from Rangers in Scotland. This is a team that, these aren't splashy names. These aren't big names, but these are, Mihailovic borderline is, but these are foundational players. I said Vincent is a veteran. No, he's not. He's 22, but not really veteran. But these are sort of foundational players that they're going to stake their team to over the next few years here. And I feel like the winter transfer window, they have some wiggle room to do more if they wanted to. But as far as this upcoming match on Sunday, I say 2-1 to Toronto FC, and Atlanta United's winless streak in MLS will continue for at least another match. Guys,
I don't know. I just want entertainment, like Tommy said. I do agree, though. I do think Atlanta wins this one. They can just put their head down and play a 90-minute match of good soccer, not the other kind of soccer. But it goes back to kind of what Heath was talking about, where they can't just suddenly fall apart whenever they decide to, stop trying, because that's what it feels like, that there's that moment in every match where, whether it's the 46th minute when they come out of the locker room or the 60th minute or whatever, there's inevitably that moment where they're just like, I'm done. So if they cannot do that this time, I'm going to say 3-1 Atlanta.
Wow, he's just laughing at you.
I know, God almighty.
He's in his villain era.
I'm not laughing at him. That's a bold prediction. I'd be happy. I'd be happy if that happened, but that's still bold.
Omar said 3-1 the other way.
3-1 the other way, TFC. So
I'm going to go with what. Here's the thing. Tequila was asking in the chat. About where we're going to start looking. Where'd it go? We're going to start looking at the win percentage based on the roof open or closed. I actually don't think that's a good idea, because I actually think it's pretty bad, but I'm not 100% sure.
When it's open?
when it's open. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I think it's terrible. But it might come down to that. That might be the analysis that we're going to have to start putting out there, because otherwise it's just everybody banging their head against the wall and hoping something different happens.
Yeah. By the way, for the record, I think the roof will be closed. They're calling for rain on Sunday around kickoff time. So
I'll add my Pokemon Go
Oh, no.
thing in the chat too. I want friends.
But let me say this: like in this game, and in every game going forward,
yeah.
I've been saying this, but the transfers that you brought in need to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to figure out what you're doing with this team. You need to figure out if these players are good to go into next season. You have a loan on a player. Is that worth extending? Purchasing? What are you doing there?
Mm.
The other part is, look, this is the exact opposite of what I said for months. Someone's gonna say, "Oh, Tommy changed his mind." I don't want to see Saba play. I just don't.
Oh.
I don't want to see him play here at the moment, because it's very clear that he does not have a future with this team.
Mm.
Because you can't spend that much money on a backup right winger, or you can't put him on the left because he doesn't do anything on the left. We need to see Luke Brennan in every possible minute that is available that he can play, because we're at that point, and I understand. Look, I know the front office of any team has this issue, because they know the fans pay a lot to go to these games, and they see tickets, but
Right.
you don't want to just put in a twos lineup. Like you just putting in
Yeah.
kids, and like I know it's hard to do that in MLS and call people up and everything like that. But still, like everyone wants to say they want to see Hibbert play. I understand, completely get it. But we need to see the youth come in and see what they have going into next season. And you would
I
think
agree.
Ronnie Dyla would know that, because I think everyone knows, and I'd be shocked if the front office doesn't feel that way, that you need to go out and get yourself a starting left winger next season. It's not
Yeah.
Saba. That is not it. So you got to move on from him. Like, I understand it sucks. Like, let him come in, let him be a substitute for Luke at the end of a game if needed, and make him a sub or whatever. But like right now, I don't want to see somebody. I don't want to see Miyamba play. I don't I don't want to see Miyamba play
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean, I feel like
I
you know
don't
what you
want.
can get from him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. And look, I know people say they don't want to see Brooks Lennon play. We don't have a lot of depth right now in general.
Right.
So like he has to, but like I want to see. I mean, I'm looking to see anyone else. I mean, those are the main guys, and then obviously the Brad
Yeah.
Guzan story that we keep going. And like, I see the tweets, I see the comments in the Discord, in the watch alongs. I think they're just going to do right by him and let him finish out the season as the starter. But it's just very unfortunate, because I
Yeah.
think he does need some. I think Hibbert does need some play, just to get him the reps, see what he can do. And there's always the last game of the season at home for him to finish at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Because, man, remember what happened when Joseph Martinez didn't he subbed in? Didn't he sub in to his
Yeah.
last game there? And it was like
Mm.
Twitter was like, they killed Joseph Martinez on the field. Was nobody watching? Was nobody
Actually,
watching
no.
him be able to do it?
Did he even get subbed in?
Yeah,
to-
he did.
Yeah. We'll have to confirm,
He got subbed
but-
in.
Okay.
I don't think he started. I think he got subbed in.
I thought that was
But
the whole
he-
frustrating thing, though, was that he didn't get any playing time and what essentially would have been his last match.
No, I'm pretty sure he played.
Okay. I mean, I might be misremembering.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do
So-
remember it pissed off everybody, and maybe that's where the curse started. I don't know.
Right. So quickly, tell me, to your point about younger players. Yeah, I kind of theorized that there's a way for Atlanta United to be officially eliminated from playoff contention before that happens. Which, I mean, you're not making the playoffs, so why wait? But I think that's what they're looking for, because if by some miracle they make the playoffs, they can look back and say, we got there with our first team players, our first choice lineup. But that's just my theory. That's my theory. I don't know. I could be
If
wrong.
that's their theory,
just-
then they need to switch things up here.
I mean, there's still belief. I mean, they say, "Hey, we believe," but I mean, it's just, it's not happening. No playoffs. No
Yeah, and
playoffs.
look, it's
Yeah.
fine to believe until you're
Right.
done, but like I still don't see them changing much. I don't see them changing much here. But you're at that point of the season where you just need to figure things out. You got to start prepping for next year. Other teams have prepped for the season. They're bringing in transfers for the next window. Toronto's bringing players in to make themselves better next season. Coaches are getting fired. They're bringing in the coaches now
Yeah.
to get them settled and to get to understand some of these players to see if they need to move on from them or not. We take our good old time on these things, and what's been frustrating, I think, for a lot of this fan
Yeah.
base is that it has been slow on doing some of the things that they need to do. And how do you get vibes going into next season? Because that's what we're going to be talking about in about 2 months from now when
Yeah.
the season's over. Because if you're not switching out likely at least two of the three DPs, which is probably not going to happen, they're probably not going to switch any of the like two to the three out. Chuck's probably the only one that really has a chance of
Possibly.
possibly leaving. They've already claimed. I'm not going on that rant again about. They've already claimed that Ronnie's safe. So
Right.
if he's safe and you're not changing any of your big players, you're just bringing in role players around. I don't know how you get this franchise or these fans of this franchise excited for 2026. That's the question: is how do you get them pumped? Because if you're just going back in with everything, hoping that it changes with some of your role players,
You
it's
need
real hard to
to.
do really cool promo videos. What are you gonna go to the airport and just have your players just come like have all the players just come into town for the preseason and have the
Right.
people show up for that? Like, there's nothing that you could do to get people excited. They're like, you're gonna have to. It's a prove it year next year because this year you had the Miggy sales, you
Yeah.
had the Miggy excitement, you had the latte laugh, biggest transfer in MLS history. There's no way that this guy could be a bust type thing come in. But next year, you don't
No.
have that. You're not going to have these big things to sell here because Miggy sells tickets. Miggy sells tickets. Miggy sells jerseys. Like, that is what that guy does because of who
Right.
he is with this club. Next year, though, you better not have a shitty away kit because you're going to need to sell those. But I said in the Discord, like, this is probably the
You,
season since
yeah.
I've been a fan, the least amount of money I have ever spent on Atlanta United. That includes tickets, like gear, anything. I just don't feel like spending money on this team.
Yeah, and others will agree with you. I mean, you see people not renewing their season tickets. You know, people like you not spending money on jerseys, kits, things like that. I mean, it's a knock-on effect of having a bad team. And you said Miggy sells tickets, but you know how else you sell tickets? By winning games. And you need to bring in players that can help you win games, and hopefully they can do that in this winter window.
It's got to happen. And that at the end of the day, it's got to happen sooner than later. And sooner is until the end of the season. And it sucks, man, because we said the same thing basically a calendar year ago today. When everything was struggling, we were like, hey, they have to give fans something to hold on to. And then they did because they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're not making the playoffs this year.
Right. No.
So you need the guys that are coming in plus the three DPs to show you why it's really worth going out of your way to spend money in 2026. I mean, this is a World Cup year. Like, this is you're going to have eyes on Atlanta regardless of Atlanta United. But think about how much better it could be if the eyes were on Atlanta for the World Cup, and you naturally bring in through osmosis some of the fans to Atlanta United. But I mean, I wouldn't want to watch this team if I wasn't a fan. If I saw what we're seeing most of the time, and I just tuned in, I would be like,
yeah,
what kind of soccer is this? It's just not good enough.
Right. No, for sure. Well,
Colonel said I'm pumped for Atlanta United 2030.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get a win on Sunday finally.
Well, don't you say that because we're the only positive ones here. You're like, oh, Atlanta United's losing 13 to 1.
I'm positive. I didn't say that.
Your eyes said it. It doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. It's what your eyes said. Your eyes were like, they're done.
Whatever. Whatever. But yeah, hopefully you get a win on Sunday. Just
hopefully
to shake off this funk that they've been in. Like you said, give fans something to
I want a
be
win
positive.
Yeah, be positive.
Yeah.
I want to win in MLS.
I mean, 1-0.
They did to Atlas.
1-0 even.
No,
Well, I don't
no.
know about that. Just
No.
win.
No,
Just
I mean,
we
win.
want to
would be
win
great.
and we want to have fun.
Just win. Please, just win. 1-0, 2-1, 5-1, whatever. Just win.
Omar
It's the first
said
time we've ever
made it
yelled
back
about a positive thing on here. Like, no,
because
win
he's
1-0.
suffering
No.
his career.
Anyway.
Oh, this is where we're at.
This is why I like wrestling, guys, because like it's all pre-planned, and usually the good guy gets his day at some point. Like here, just the good guy does not get its point sometimes. It just doesn't work out that way.
Has Atlanta United turned heel or face?
Dude, no, they turned to jobbers.
Whatever-
That's what they are. They're jobbers.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Yeah.
they've been relegated off of any
Yeah.
of the main shows at this point,
Yeah. I think so.
and I hate that.
They're on the indies right now.
Yeah.
Just
But
do
subscribe to
better.
battered wrestling. Anyone that's
Give
that's
a
wrestling.
shout out.
Yeah. Subscribe to that as well. We got anything else for this episode, guys? Maybe? No? Yes?
No, I mean,
Silence.
again, keep an eye on the twos because there's some talent there that you will probably see sooner or later with the first team. Go join the Patreon. The $5 and $10 tiers will have those videos going up. Of course, all the tiers get into Discord and the watch along, so y'all definitely go join that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be doing our pre-match show on Sunday at a weird time because it's a weird time for a game.
3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. But what else we got?
Subscribe again on YouTube. If you're watching YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, share our content. Henry has us across the pitch. We have our shows Sunday live after every match day, 9 p.m., Monday, 9 p.m., MLS Monday, Wednesday, 7 p.m., our midweek show. And again, I mentioned Henry's across the pitch and a lot of other stuff. So like, subscribe, share on YouTube. Tommy's making silly hand signals on his camera. But also Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. Yes, it does exist in some form and fashion. Like us there, subscribe to us there, and leave a rating. Definitely give us 5 stars, and it helps us grow and do what we are doing to help you get the best Atlanta United coverage. You follow us at Scarce Letter and Spikes on X, ScarsandSpikes.com, Blue Sky, and Scars and Spikes everywhere else.
Blue Sky's still kicking.
Blue Sky's still kicking.
Mastodon's dead.
Mastodon, not so much. Mastodon is not extinct, but it's pretty close.
We still got Pterodactyl, Triceratops, Saber-tooth Tiger, Tyrannosaurus,
right?
Dragonzord. We got them all still coming. Those are the sequels.
Yeah. I think that's it.
That's
right?
it. Join
Play the music.
The Patreon. Yeah, play the music.
Yes.
Get in the Discord with us. Tommy, you had the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever, like Henry was saying at the beginning.
I went to go find a chain. I couldn't find a chain. I don't have the hat. I couldn't do the thing. I saw your guys, like, I know that I heard the Rihanna Smurfs movie didn't do very well in theaters, but you guys did great. You muted for some reason. I don't know.
I said it was a good reboot for sure.
We have to disclaim, for whatever reason, whenever we start the music, one of our mics gets muted.
Yeah.
It's a
every
bug.
time.
We don't understand what's going on, so
I'm just glad it's not mine.
It's normally Sydney's. I don't know why it was me this time.
no.
Do you guys think Inter Miami wins tonight?
No.
No.
Actually, on MLS Monday, I predicted they would, but no.
I mean, Messi, didn't Messi just play over the weekend and score a goal?
Yeah, but he just came back from injury too.
Right. Why would you play him in that game
I have
against shitty LA Galaxy, where LA Galaxy is also trying to win their game? Like, I understand you want to get as many points, but this is risk reward here, and not winning against the Galaxy, I don't think is going to majorly kill you. Like, you want to win Leagues Cup. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they want to say Messi won a trophy. I'm sure MLS would want him to win a trophy, but not playing on Saturday and not today.
already with him.
They're what?
They won Leagues Cup already with him.
Yeah, I know, but like, you got to start winning trophies with this with him. Like, you need those, and
I agree.
this is an easier one to get. So like, because if they're gonna bomb out of MLS playoffs, sorry, Danny and Chris, then you just need to prepare yourself for like saying, hey, but we won Leagues Cup.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
If you're watching
I
Leagues
think-
Cup tonight, prepare for an all-nighter. By the way,
11.
last game
30
kicked off at
kickoff.
11:45.
Great job, guys. Great job to all.